Chicago Bears trying to interview everybody, but Jerry Jones said, now my coach. Chicago Bulls are in the midst of some of the best basketball they've been playing over the last year or so, but they got a big test tonight in Indiana. Plus, we're going to discuss whatever's going on with the rest of the Chicago sports teams right after the intro. Let me find the intro real quick. The Bears one real quick. Right after the intro. All right, good morning, Chicago sports fans. Welcome to another episode of Chi-Town Sports Central. It's your boy Big Kid. We got Steve-O and Q in the building. What's going on, gentlemen?
Can't complain. Hella interviews. Trying to see who's gonna be our next coach.
What up, Q? Both of you niggas is on mute.
I mean, you muted.
Now, nope, can't hear you at all. All right, well, Q get his technical difficulties undifficultized. Steve-O, how you feeling, man? The Bears, Dallas was like, nah, fam, no, you cannot interview our coach.
Really, it's really Buddy just being very petty. And we all know how Jerry Jones is when it comes to him. At the end of the day, you would think they're thinking about they're thinking about keeping them, because usually that's exactly what they're doing. They're giving them a little grace period where they could give them some time to extend, so they can extend his contract. Is usually why they don't allow people to talk. But the way Jerry Jones been talking, you never know. Like, you can talk to him, you can't talk to him. You don't know if you can or you can't. So, um, on the Bears part, it's cool. Like, you should be trying to interview somebody that's won over a multiple spans of years, won a Super Bowl, and just won with multiple different type of teams. So you should be interviewed on the Dallas part. It's just Dallas being Dallas. They're being petty, and I wouldn't be surprised if they don't even end up keeping them towards the end.
I personally, I already knew that they were not going to allow the Bears to talk to him. I just know Jerry Jones. I knew it from the
Even
moment.
Dick.
Yeah, I mean, just based on the things that I've been hearing this season about the Dallas Cowboys and what they plan on doing with their coach. Listening to Jerry Jones, he owns the teams. He's the GM of the team. He has his own radio show where he talks about the team,
The
and
first motherfucker to talk after games.
yeah, so it's like he's very I don't know, he's very controlling in that
Petty.
aspect. And he wants to make sure that the whatever narrative is going on about the Dallas Cowboys, he's the one that's dictating it. He's the one that's controlling it. So there's no way he was going to allow Bears fans or Dallas Cowboys fans to think that Mike McCarthy was leaving unless he was the one that put that information out there. So that's just how I feel about it. That's how I felt about it, and that's why I knew that when the Bears said they were interested in interviewing him, he would never allow it to happen unless he's the one that came to with the terms. He probably want a draft pick for the Bears or something like that if they want to talk to his coach.
Right. Yeah, he was
Yeah.
some ignorant shit like that.
Yeah, no, Jerry is one of those people you just don't want to do business with. Just, just he screws his own players. He screws his own organization. So he's not afraid to screw you. So
Yeah, he screwed himself without knowing he screws himself.
I mean, he knows. He
I don't
knows.
think he know. I think he at that age where he just don't literally realize what he's doing to his franchise. It's like he don't realize, like, because we already know he don't know how tone deaf he be. He don't realize what he be saying at the game. He be throwing players and coaches under buses without realizing he doing that. And then he always undermine what his coaches is doing. Unless your name is Jason Garrett.
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
issue with Jerry is Jerry thinks he's right.
Yep.
So even when he's not right, he's gonna blame everyone else about how they didn't let his vision come to fruition, even though it's clearly just your vision was bad. So I mean, yeah, he's one of those people where it doesn't matter what he does, what he says, it's going to be your fault if you don't get it done.
All right, so moving on. George McCaskey spoke yesterday, and he sounded like
Oh
a
my
bumbling
god.
idiot. Just like he just has no football knowledge whatsoever. He's trying to run this team like a city as opposed to a sports franchise. Um, like for example, the coach reports to the GM, GM reports to the president, president reports to the chairman, and it's just and him saying that he doesn't believe that the GM and the head coach's contracts should align with each other, and his response to how the fans are saying sell the team. He just sounds like a rich idiot to me, and I'm tired of it. I'm so tired of it. This man, since he's taken over, 11 years ago, has hired three head coaches, four general managers, about to be another head coach, umpteen quarterbacks, so on and so forth. Yeah, he still doesn't understand. Like it seems like he still has yet to sit down with another team owner, a successful team owner, and discuss how things should go. How y'all
Well,
feeling
that's the
about
problem. Like
George
most
McCaskey?
most team owners don't know shit, and they step back and let the people they hire do their job, which is what he said he was going to do. He said it. You saying like, oh, he's a rich idiot. He said it in so many words. He's a rich idiot. He don't know football. He said, I'm a fan of football. I'm not an analyzer. I don't analyze football. That's what they're here for. So why ever since you said that we see your fucking DNA prints on everything? The
Mm-hmm.
first, soon as you said that, a week later, Bill Polian in this bitch trying to tell us who's gonna be our head coach,
Mm-hmm.
and then you go come out tomorrow talking about, well, I don't think the G and the head coaches it don't necessarily needs to be. I don't think it's you need it,
So
dude.
then you
When you really just gonna take your own advice and shut the fuck up and sit down and stop trying to do anything in football operations. You said you wasn't gonna talk or do anything with football operation. Yet every time it's a decision to be made, your ass is there.
yeah,
I'm sick of this shit, and that's the main reason why when people like yourself and others be like, I don't give a fuck who they bring in this. I don't trust this team. That right there, that's the exact reason why we don't trust this team. Because every time you say you gonna get the fuck out the way, you never do.
and Q when they asked him about the sell the team chance, he responded like this: "Our fans are passionate. They're incredibly frustrated. They wanted to make their voices heard. However, I was more bothered by the week before when Lions fans tried to take over Soldier Field and force the home team to go to a silent snap count. Fortunately, that didn't happen. It's understandable that Bears fans would sell their tickets because of the way the season has
Bitch.
gone, but the challenge for us is to put the team on the field that Bears fans are excited about and they're not interested in selling their tickets."
This bitch
Q,
got some
Q,
nerve.
Q. How you feeling about that, boy?
The most gaslighting ever. We are on a 10-game losing streak, 11-game losing streak, and you guys didn't buy tickets. So clearly, it's your fault. It's y'all fault. You didn't buy
Mhm.
tickets. We need more tickets.
No, the
You
Bears
you
bought
let the team
tickets.
down.
The Bears
No, but
bought
No,
I'm just
tickets.
saying.
Fans bought tickets. They just sold their tickets to other
the
fans.
Lions fans.
But that's the point. It's like, how do you blame the fans? Like, how do you take a situation like this where it's your team has been terrible, your coaching was terrible, your offensive coordinator was terrible, you fired both of them this season, you screwed up Caleb, the whole team looks terrible, you're on a great losing streak, everything looks bad, and now what do you say about your mistakes? Well, they want us to sell the team, but they also sold their tickets.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean,
Af-
honestly, I feel like that
Bro,
was very disrespectful to Bears fans. Not addressing why they were saying sell the team, but saying I wish they
ain't no
wouldn't
way.
have to sell their tickets because I want to make sure that we make as much money as possible. Is basically what he's saying, and I don't like the
Also,
fact that we got opponents fans coming in here cheering louder than our fans. So we got to make sure that we get to the point where we can keep selling tickets, but not to the other team's fans.
but do you know how stupid that sounds? I want us to make as much money as possible. You sold the tickets. We bought them. They were still bought by Bears
Ain't no
fans.
way. Ain't no
Like,
way. I'm a media person. I'm allowing him to say some shit. What you just say?
my first
You
question would have been, so if you would have sold it to Lions fans, would you have charged more?
I would have been
Mm,
How are you
like,
going to make
sir,
more money?
sir, do you know why Lions fans came over here and took over your stadiums like you just said? Nigga, they can win a Super Bowl. That's why. They been good the last 2 years. That's why.
Mm-hmm.
Motherfucker, did you not pay attention to what the Detroit fans was doing when they was losing? They weren't going and selling out every game. They weren't going into state to state to support their team.
Mm-hmm.
Like, stop with the bro. Somebody ain't. It's clear that's why I don't like this organization. There is nobody real there because ain't no way you finna sit there and say no shit like that out loud and not. What did you just say?
Mm-hmm.
You not finna sit here and tell me and go away from your blame because that's exactly what you did. You said fuck what you did and let's talk about something else. No, answer the question. Why didn't this year work? Why everything you said that you was gonna do, you didn't do? You ain't stepped back. You in this motherfucker more than we ever seen you before. Like, bro,
So
I'm so tired of that punk face bitch. I'm so tired of it.
so moving on to the next clown, Ryan Poles. One of the people asked him, one of the reporters asked him uh, about how Caleb Williams was dealing with constant disruption and stress throughout
Could
his
you
rookie
could you
season.
describe that? I don't know what you mean by
Exactly.
that.
So instead of attacking the question head on, he had the nerve to literally ask the reporter, like, "What do you mean? Define disruption and stress."
I would have told him
It
everything.
is, and the thing is, my 6-year-old can tell him what the disruption and stress is. Disruption is having to fire your offensive coordinator and having to fire your coach in the middle of the season. Stress is 70 sacks. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, on top of other things.
I would have been
So
like, which way? Which way you want to talk about?
I mean, like, I just think, as an organization, bro, like, accountability. If you want your players to be taking accountability and responsibility for their actions, if you want your coaches to take accountability and responsibility for their actions, you want your fans to take accountability and for their actions. But as the owner, the GM, and the president, who we'll get to in a second, y'all don't want to take accountability. Y'all pointing fingers. Y'all just taking questions and changing them around and twisting them up and not answering them directly. You guys are getting paid millions and millions, even billions of dollars to run this organization into the ground, under the ground, beneath the ground, into the magma under the surface, bro. Like, what are we
To
talking
the
about
Earth's
here?
core.
You literally saying, can you define? I would have been kicked out of the presser right
Dead
then.
ass.
I would have been kicked out the presser. First, I would have said, nigga, what? That's what I would have said. Nigga, what? Those two words. And if the white people would have looked at me like, what? What did he say?
Yeah, I say, nigga, what? What
Like,
you
how?
mean? What do I mean? That's would have been my response. What do you mean? What do I mean? What do you mean? Expand. Did you not watch the season? Did we not just see what we just seen?
Yeah.
Well, I will give one of them credit. One of the reporters did look him dead in the face and go, "Well, you fired your coach halfway through the season, and you
Yeah.
fired your offensive coordinator." Like, when,
We were
and
like,
he,
oh yeah. It was like, oh yeah, I did do that.
but the worst part is this tells you everything. Ben Johnson's not coming to the Bears.
and
That
that brings me
signified it
to
right there.
Kevin Warren saying that he wants to hire a world class coach. You want a world class coach to come coach the Ringling Brothers?
We ain't world class.
Like, and even the Ringling Brothers puts on a better show than the Chicago Bears, and they're a circus, and they've been defunct for the last 10 years. I got better memories going to
It's
the
crazy.
circus than I do watching the Bears. It's a very frustrating task being a Chicago Bears fan. That's crazy to say that it's a task.
And this is why I wasn't trying to hear that shit. Oh, look at the body language of your players of DJ Moore. Look at who the fuck is their boss.
Mm-hmm.
How am I expected to keep a smile on my face and a positive body language and a positive attitude when I'm keeping myself more accountable than the fucking owner? And then the
Hmm.
owner sounds stupid, therefore the GM sounds stupid, therefore the fucking president sounds stupid. It's hard to keep a stoic, strong, positive face when you are surrounded by goofies.
I just want to see. I just want to see because you hear George McCaskey like, well, Ryan Post is going to learn from his experience, and Kevin Warren's been through this before, and Ryan Post is going to learn from him, and I expect him to make the right decision. Man, I want to see somebody be pissed.
Oh my mama.
Like, I want to see the president, the owner, or the GM needed to be pissed off yesterday. They needed to be throwing shit around. Instead of just oh well, this is what happened, and we're gonna do our best to make it not happen again. Man, if you don't shut up, like
We've heard that song and dance.
who hasn't? Every battered wife on the planet has heard that song and dance before. The same way, tail tucked between his legs. Well, things didn't go to. I didn't try to cheat, but I did. And man, shut up. I am so tired of watching our top brass go out there with this meek approach as opposed to be mad. Our offensive line needs to be better. There's no reason our number one overall draft pick should have been sacked 70 times.
Can't
Our
be
offense
mad.
needs to be better. Our punter had more yards than anybody on offense. Our defense needs to be better. We only got so many
Special
sacks and so
teams.
many pressures on the court. Like, why go out there and act as though everything, all we got to do is just tweak this and do that, and then
I
voila.
mean, essentially we do. But these niggas don't know how to tweak shit. That's the thing. They don't even know how to they don't know how to build the proper steps right.
Man, they want to double bubble, toil and trouble their way to the
On
top.
my mama, they using bubble gum and duct tape instead of
Irritating.
using steel.
Man, bro,
I'm so
ain't
tired
no
of it,
ain't
bro.
no welders in this generation, bro. They trying to zip tie their way
Zip
and
tie like a
and
motherfucker.
Allen wrench their way. They think they can IKEA their way to the top of the doggone NFL, and that's just a silly approach,
Well, of
bro.
course, they can't afford steel because Bears fans are selling their tickets to Lions fans.
Jesus. All right, man. We could sit here all morning and be in them about the doggone Bears, but y'all head on over to the Chicago Bears Central if you want to hear any more updates and analysis there where Hayes is holding it down, C-Dub and Bobby, Steve and myself as well pop in and out. We appreciate y'all for rocking with us, though. Like, for real. Y'all not selling y'all Chi-Town Sports Central tickets, so we rock with y'all for that.
Just facts.
Chicago Bulls, man. They are in a sort of a groove right now, bro. They've been winning games. They're inching closer and closer to 500. And they're actually in position to move up in the standings. A win tonight versus the Pacers could go a long way to put them at 18 and 19. And the number 5 seed in the East, y'all, are 18 and 16. So that would tie them in the win column at least for the 5th place in the East and be out of the play-in and actually in position to make a real playoff run. And they've won 6 out of their last 10. Frankly, if the Pacers and Pistons weren't playing as well as they have been playing, the Bulls will already be in 8th place. But there's a lot of ifs and such going on. My thing right now with the Chicago Bulls, fellas, is stop me if you heard this before. We talked about this yesterday, Q. Like last season, this is exactly where the Bulls were. They still had DeRozan, they still had Caruso, they didn't have Lonzo Ball, they didn't have Giddey. Vucevic wasn't playing well. Zach was out at this point last season, and they were still pretty much in this position. How the hell do the Bulls keep ending up in basketball purgatory? And now, honestly, I'm more excited about this team this season than I was last season because it seems like they like to play together.
Can I just say this before Q go?
Go ahead.
Sacramento got 18 wins. We got 17. That's all
Hmm.
I'm gonna say.
Yeah. They're on a 6-game winning streak, I think, right now, to the five-game winning streak.
Yeah, because that Negro is going off the last 4 games.
Yeah,
Can't
he
even
he
lie.
been killing. He been
Yeah.
killing. But the Chicago Bulls have a chance tonight, Q, to make some moves in the standings, to win on the road against an Indiana team that's trying to get better because they started off pretty poorly as well.
Well, that's an early game too.
Yeah, 6 o'clock is Eastern time.
Mm-hmm.
But how we feeling about? We talked about it a little bit yesterday, but Steve-O wasn't here, so I'll go to you first, Steve-O. Over the next 6 games, the Bulls have an opportunity to push themselves above 500. How we feeling about their
It's
chances,
definitely possible. Going against Wizards, Kings, Pelicans, Nets, and Hornets over the next 5 games, that's definitely doable.
including the
Um,
Pacers
the,
tonight?
including the Pacers tonight, I would say the hardest teams we're probably going up against is that Pelicans, Pacers, and Hawks team. But it's definitely possible. I would say the only thing that especially I've been seeing over the last 5 games with the Bulls is we just gotta come out better. We're finishing games pretty well. We're learning how to win with each other, but we still have that DNA where we put ourselves in holes. And quite frankly, against these more talented teams, you can't do that because they have the talent to match up. We seen it with even with the Spurs. Each and every time we try to get closer and closer to knock the lead down, they answered. And there's teams that's better than the Spurs that we're gonna go up against that we got to be more ready for. So if we could just limit um the turnovers has been pretty high the last few games, and just come out with a better plan. I think that pick and roll. I don't know. I didn't talk about it with y'all, but I feel like that rotation with Zach, Zoe, and Giddy, we need to see more of that because I kind of like the way it worked out there. Giddy can it could be that guy that can cut as well, and Zoe is that person that can cut as well. But Zoe and Giddy is the same person to keep their eyes up. So it was a lot of scoring when it was out there. So I like that rotation more. But that's my main concern. If they could just stop putting themselves in holes where they got to climb out of a 20-point deficit to win the game, we can't have a chance to be over that 500 mark.
Yeah, I mean, so if the next 7 games, if they win 4 and lose 3, they'll be 21-22.
So, yeah.
So they got to win 5 out of their next 7 games to get to 500, and they play Portland next Sunday night.
And
Um,
then Clippers after that.
yeah, so we're stopping right there at the Portland situation
Yeah.
next Sunday night. So Q, we talked about this yesterday, but the Chicago Bulls, are we expecting them to win 5 out of their next 7 games, only losing 2 out of their next 7 games to be at 500 at the end of Sunday night?
I mean, we talked about it a little bit yesterday. It really comes down to the Bulls team that we get. Like they're so back and forth. You never know what you're getting. Um, what I'll say though is what I've seen the last couple of games that's kind of given me a little bit of hope is the Bulls are starting to play the way they were playing before Alonzo got hurt. And that
Mhm.
is you get the ball, you throw it up
Go.
immediately. There's no
Yeah.
thinking, there's no trying to find Kobe White to dribble it up the floor. Who is open? Zach is taking off immediately, running down the court. Buzelis is running down the court. Like the players are starting to learn now with Lonzo and Giddy out on the floor. If you just run, they will find you. And I think that's a confidence thing and it's something that takes time. So I think they're starting to learn that. With what Steve said, they do need to start out better. They start out games terribly every single time. For some reason, Patrick Williams starts out great, but the rest of the team doesn't. And then Patrick stops playing, and then the rest of the team steps up. I don't know what that is. But yeah, you need the Bulls to continue to be throwing the ball up the court, finding the open man, moving without the ball. And you're starting to see Kobe White understand that he needs to drive. And I think that's
Yes.
the last couple of games what's been happening.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody got in their head and said, you need to stop shooting threes every second. If it's not falling, get to the rim. So if they can do
Mm-hmm.
that, they can drive to the rim. If they can get the ball up the court and play some decent defense where they help each other out, they have a chance of being at 500. But it just comes down to if they stick to that strategy or if they go back to Billy Donovan, shoot threes every chance you get and don't switch.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Yeah, I mean, I gotta give him Kobe and Zach credit for being more aggressive and attacking. It sucks that it took this far into the season, 30 games into the season, for them to finally realize what their greatest strengths are. But at the end of the day, the Bulls are benefiting from it, and they're not only are they outpacing expectations, they are on pace to shatter all expectations for the season. And if you guys were paying attention at the beginning of the season over here and on Chicago Bulls Central, I told y'all to take the over in terms of that 28.5 that Vegas had the Bulls at, simply because they still have Vooch and Zach on the team, and those guys are both all stars, or at least former all stars. And you can't ignore something like that and expect them to take the precipitous fall that pundits were putting them at just because they lost DeMar DeRozan. They put too many eggs in their DeMar DeRozan basket, just like the Bulls did. But at the end of the day, we know what Zach is capable of. We know what Vooch is capable of, and we know what Kobe's capable of. And right now, this team is they could be what Cleveland was last season, not necessarily this season, because Cleveland's killing right now. I think they're on another 10-game winning streak. But they could be that fourth, fifth, sixth seed going into the playoffs if they can make it through this stretch of the season by getting more wins than losses. But it's going to be remain to be seen because you guys are both right. They start off too slow, and you can't, just like we saw at the beginning of the season where they were the comeback kids and they eventually that fell apart because they ended up losing a game that they were down big and they just stayed down big. They can't keep going down big and expecting to come back and win games. You can't keep going down 17, 18, 19 points and expecting to win games. That's just not a formula for success in the NBA or any sport. So tonight is a big test for the Bulls on the road. They're a better road team than they are a home team. That's odd, but it's just a fact right now at this point in the season. And we'll see what they can do. You got Obi Toppin playing really good basketball right now. Miles Turner playing really good basketball right now. Tyrese Halliburton is playing really good basketball right now. And Indiana knows what's at stake for themselves as well. Last year they were the darlings of the East, so to speak. Injuries kind of derailed them, but they did go to the Eastern Conference Finals, so they do know how to play winning basketball. But the good thing for the Bulls is that they play just as bad a defense as the Bulls do. So tonight's going to be a
Mhm.
fun game to watch, and I've been calling them fun bad all season, and that's exactly what the Bulls have been. So hopefully tonight the threes are falling, and they can get a strong start, not just from Patrick Williams, flower power, but from everybody else. So we'll see how it goes. If you guys want to hear anything else about the Chicago Bulls, head on over to Chicago Bulls Central with Hayes holding it down over there, and then C Dub and Bobby on their channel, Shy Bulls Podcast. They will be live tonight. The Cognac Boys, Shy Bulls Podcast. They'll be live tonight with a live call with C Dub, the best live caller in the game. Of course, Devo and Bobby will be in the building. I'll be at work. All right, Chicago
Mhm.
Cubs have been making moves. We're gonna just breeze through the rest of the teams real quick. The Chicago Cubs have been making moves, and in fact, they've been making enough moves to at least inspire confidence coming into the season or going into the season in the next couple of months when they go to Japan to take on the World Series champions LA Dodgers to kick the season off. But listen, the Cubs have made a lot of moves. They still got like one or two moves to make in that bullpen, but they've even made moves in the bullpens with signings. The front end of their starting rotation is still strong with Shota Imanaga and Justin Steele. They picked up Justin Tucker, and then they also picked up a couple of other pieces to fill out their lineup. Listen, I'm expecting the Chicago Cubs to start the season strong like they did last season, but maintain it and keep pace with the Milwaukee Brewers, maybe even outpace the Milwaukee Brewers and win 88 to 92 games this upcoming season. But if you guys want to hear anything else about the Chicago Cubs, head on over to Chicago Cubs Central, where my boy Big Mike has been holding it down every day. My man wakes up excited for the Chicago Cubs, go to bed daydreaming about the Chicago Cubs. So you know that he's a true fan of the team, and he's giving you guys super duper information over there. The Chicago White Sox might have
Pitching. That's it.
White Sox might have a rookie of the year candidate on their hands in Teal. He came over from the Boston Red Sox in the Gary Crochet trade, and a couple of the scouts and managers around the league say that if he does get called up, he's a catcher. He does have an opportunity to win Rookie of the Year depending on how he does. And the White Sox, look, if there's any team that you can go out and shine on, it's the White Sox. All you gotta do is be halfway good, halfway decent to shine on the White Sox team. So
Yeah.
head on over
All
to
you're gonna be playing is some defense. It's gonna be a very defensive ass team next year.
I mean, I expect them to be better offensively as well. They picked up a few players that can bat against lefties. That was something that
Yeah.
they struggled at mightily last season. We were the worst team batting against lefties. They picked up a lot of veterans that's going to come in and teach these young guys how to be. In terms of like, hey, this is how you act on the road. This is how you get ready for game day.
Take
This is
your
how
ass to that club. We got a 4 o'clock game tomorrow. Don't take your ass out
Yup,
there.
leave these skills alone. So it is what it is, man. I think the White Sox have quietly put together a team that's going to outproduce, definitely way outproduce what happened last season. I don't expect them to do too well. Like
I'm
maybe
excited for the pitching. I think we gonna have some young. We got a lot of young pitching that could potentially turn out to be some good pitching.
yeah, I mean, and then you still got players like Tauchman. They picked him up from the Cubs. You got Benintendi, who's still solid in left field, especially defensively. You still got Luis Robert Jr., who's still Luis Robert Jr., especially defensively. And Andrew Vaughn over at first base made a few strides last season, so we'll see how that goes. I don't think Corey Lee's going to be the catcher all season, but it's going to be an interesting season for the White Sox, say the least. They're going to be way more watchable than they were last season. I'll say it that way. So head on over to Chicago White Sox Central for news and updates over there. Chicago Blackhawks Central. Of course, the Blackhawks are just trash, but uh, our boy, what's the young kid's name?
So,
Connor Bedard.
oh, Connor Bedard. Yeah.
Connor Bedard is doing his thing, so at least watch him
That's all you can watch.
At least watch him. Check out Chicago Blackhawk Central where they're holding it down over there, man. And it's gonna be look, man, it's gonna be a rough couple of seasons for the Blackhawks, but as they continue to draft and make some trades and so on and so forth, they will get better. And then of course, as always, we close it out with the Chicago Sky. The ladies over there, Angel Reese is getting ready for her unrivaled season. And we talked about it yesterday, Steve-O. Camila Cardoso killing over there in China, just dominating them little girls over there. But I guess
Kennedy is killing in China too.
yeah, Kennedy as well, and that it's still up in the air about will she, won't she come back
And
to the
Angel just gave y'all another reason for y'all motherfuckers to be mad. She's on Cover Girl.
she's on the cover of Vogue.
Oh, Vogue again.
Yeah, she's Vogue magazine's Winter 2025 cover star. And everybody was kind of salty about how she was dressed for New Year's, and I'm like, what's wrong with y'all? Y'all tweaking, bro.
I don't give a fuck at
She
this
could
point.
dress however she wants. Like I think people like to you know, they again we talked about this before. They confuse body positivity and confidence with sexuality and sexualization. Like because she shows off skin, that means that she wants to have sex with you, and that's just not how things go.
Mm-hmm.
It's sad that men and women alike can't separate
It's just,
um
it just,
positive sexuality with sexualization. I know it sounds weird, but they
yeah.
can't separate the two. And I get it because we think with our eyes sometimes, and it's like, oh, I can see her nipples or I can see her stomach, but that's up to you, the person, the individual, to not allow that to cause you to want to sleep with somebody, as it were, or think that they're a quote unquote whore. That's just not the truth. Now, obviously, certain things should be left to the imagination, but that's a personal preference. Like if that's how you feel,
Yeah.
that's how you feel. That's definitely how I feel. But it's not up to
But it
me
ain't
to
my
tell.
wife.
Right, right. I'm not expecting even if it was my child, my daughter, I can voice my opinion
But they
to
gonna do what they gonna do.
exactly.
Mm.
So people that's looking at Angel Reese like, oh my God, I can't believe but she's a young woman. She's in tune with herself. She's in tune with her body. And frankly, she's in tune with her brand. And that all of that plays a role in it. And if it was that bad, a reputable source like Vogue wouldn't be knocking on the
And that's
door.
and somebody was like, that why Kayla Cox Barbie, she's more marketable. I'm like, then why the fuck she ain't no Vogue?
Exactly.
The fuck is he
Also,
talking like
also,
if
there's
I
two. Oh,
go
you
ahead.
good?
Go ahead.
I was just saying, there's two crazy things about this too. One, the biggest people who be like, "Oh, she looks so bad. Why she showing so much skin?" Are the same people who agree with Shaq's comment about how they should be playing in booty shorts.
Mm-hmm.
That
But as
was my
long as
whole point. How the fuck did we get to the point of well, this nothing but these girls look manly. She comes along, now she a hoe.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you wanted. That's
Mm-hmm.
literally what you asked for.
they don't want that though, they just want what they just want to complain. Second,
God.
I saw a lady comment on Angel Reese, and this goes to show how stupid people are. She commented on how she dresses like a whore, and this girl's titties basically just out in her profile picture.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like
Look at yourself.
you doing the same. Yours might be worse, honestly,
Honestly.
It's the
but
pot calling
okay.
the kettle black, and the black also might be a part of it. In fact, it is. I
It
know
is.
everybody don't want to. People
100%.
say, "Oh, y'all make everything about race, whatever." That's
It
because it
is.
is. Because if Angel Reese was just as attractive, and not to say that she isn't, but if she had the type of
Cameron Brink takes the same type of pictures. I'm not
and
trying to
nobody
hear it.
say nothing,
I'm
bro.
not
Because
trying to hear it.
if Angel Reese was doing the same thing, they wouldn't be saying nothing. They'd be like, "Oh my gosh, she's so beautiful and so classy." And it's the same thing with President Trump and his wife versus how people were coming at certain people. President Trump's wife has been in Playboy, like we've seen her all her naughty parts, and now Republican women and men and conservative people in general are saying things like, "Oh, I don't believe in this and I don't believe in that, and you got to be this." But y'all okay with President Trump's wife doing it. So like it's just, it's a messed up situation. But
Well,
it is
that's
what
not
it
even
is.
her right for real. They're just shut up and don't move the
Right.
goalpost.
Right. So when it comes to Angel Reese, she's gonna receive flack just in general. So y'all know what it is, man. We've well crossed the 30-minute mark though, fellas. So we go get up out of here. Y'all already know how to do it, man. Type in your favorite Chicago sports team and type the word Central behind it, and you'll find us, the Chi-Town Sports Central family. Of course, we got NBA Central and the Chi Bulls podcast as well. Anything else I gotta say to the gang family?
Pray.
Don't forget to pray. Y'all already know what it is. We are already past 1 week into the new year. So, hey, hold on to those New Year's resolutions, man. You got to make it to at least 3 weeks to form
And it
that
broke
habit.
this shit already.
Don't
About
do it,
yeah,
man.
half of them done quit already.
Don't
So
smoke
Yeah.
that cigarette. Keep doing them push-ups and sit-ups. Put that bottle down and don't talk to that girl. Leave her alone. Don't talk to
what's
that
y'all
nigga. Leave him alone.
resolutions? What's y'all
Mine,
resolutions?
mine is was to have a closer, deeper walk with God. Like these last few years, I've been going to church every Sunday, so on and so forth. But now I'm taking deeper notes, having a first mentality of as soon as I wake up, go straight to the Bible and try to talk to God more. That's one of my resolutions. The other resolution was to own a house, and God blessed us with that on pretty much the last day of the year last year. So now we're just gonna try to maintain it through this year.
Hey,
I don't do
what
New
you
Year's
say?
resolution.
Yeah,
And like I
I,
say, I'm
there you
I'm
go.
I'm gonna do what I do, baby. I feel you. What about you?
I'm gonna run a 5K this year.
A
ooh,
word?
nigga.
I've
Yeah.
done 5Ks. 5Ks are easy though. Like it's the
Shut
10Ks
up.
and the
I
no.
would hear that.
Listen to what I'm saying, bro. 5Ks are easy. The marathons are the ones that are ridiculous. Like a half marathon, a 5K is 3.2 miles or
Yeah,
something like
5Ks
that.
ain't easy when you
Nigga,
fat though.
bro, it's a struggle to do a mile. I had to do that shit for gym every fucking Friday. That shit was a struggle.
But when you were running, because I like to run. Like
Yeah, I'm
running
not a
is one of
runner.
my.
I'm fat.
Oh,
there's,
okay.
there's a difference there.
But you listen, you gonna be look up and be like, dang, I did that 5K in like 40, 45 minutes. It'll be simple.
45 an
What
hour.
No,
I've done,
it should not take an hour not to do
I,
3.2
I've
miles.
ran
It
a
might not take
5K
you an
last year
hour.
on the treadmill, but this is gonna be a year I'm actually gonna train for it and run like an actual
But when you
full
did it on the
on.
treadmill, what was it? 40 minutes?
It's like
It-
50, about 50.
50 minutes. Ugh, yeah, you got some work to do.
Yeah,
You got some work to
that's
do.
that's why
I
it's a
ran a
resolution.
yeah,
You
you
don't make
got
easy
this.
resolutions.
When you train for it, bro, I'm telling you, bro, it's easy now. I don't understand how people do marathons, bro.
Yeah,
You
that's
running
different.
that's crazy. 28 miles is nuts, bro. Like, I don't,
My whole
26,
job
what was
is
it?
running one next year.
Legs will be jello.
Nigga, by the
My
time
whole
I get
job
to
is running one next year. I'm about to. I'm not.
the most I've done, and as far as running, like just by myself, is like 5 miles, and I did that in under an hour. But that was when I was at my peak, like super peak. That I can't understand people who can do 5 miles in 30 minutes and all of that stuff. That's weird to me.
That's
Bye, y'all.
sprinting. What the hell?
Nigga, they be at it, bro. They don't smoke, they don't drink. You know how it is. They take care of
Yeah.
their body, they eat right, so on and so forth. So, all right, y'all. We're gonna holler at you all next time, man. Peace.